See, it goes live on YouTube quicker than I think it does. It's preparing. I think what it does is it backs it up 30 seconds. Hello, welcome to the Narthex Gathering for Worship on November the 22nd, 2020. Here we are. This is the last Sunday of the church year, and we're getting ready. We're getting ready for Advent. Advent starts next Sunday. Advent. Next Sunday. I have to say it over and over and over again because it doesn't make any sense to me that Advent is starting. It just doesn't compute because so much of the routine has been thrown out the window. So much of the markers of the year, the signposts along the way, they're gone. They just haven't happened. And you sort of have a buildup. I mean, every year Christmas and Advent seems like it comes quicker than it ought to. Well, it's just the way humans perceive time, right? And but humans perceive time based on routine, based on a variety of things. I mean, it's as unique to us as we are unique individuals, but at the same time we do a lot of that collectively. We get together, we have worship committee meetings, we have things that kind of ramp up to it. We go, oh, Christmas is coming to each other. A lot of that hasn't happened just because we haven't really seen each other. So we're doing the best we can given the circumstances, and I think the best that we can do is going to be it's going to be something special. And it's funny because as Advent comes, I take a look through all my old files. I keep everything. Every PowerPoint presentation I've ever done, I have a copy of. Every worship service that I've put together, I have a copy. The only things I don't have are the theme times, prayers of the people, and the sermon, homily, reflection-y type sort of things, because I don't write them down. But they're on the web somewhere. I think there's recordings of them extant somewhere in the cloud. But anyway, my point was I go and I read through all of these different things and come up with a plan for the year. Usually it's very similar to the year before. Humans have traditions. Humans have rites, and they have rituals, and them being relatively the same in many respects is an anchor for us. We can say, okay, life is going absolutely nuts, but I know that there's going to be these Advent candles lit in church on the 4 Sundays of Advent, and the white candle, the Christ candle, is going to be lit on Christmas Eve, and that's an anchor. That's something that happens. That's a landmark. That's that edifice that we pass by, the Ebenezer, the old and the new that we can glom onto, and we do. I know I do. So at the same time we want innovation. We want novelty too. Listen, I'm 49 years old. Yes, I am 49 years old. I just turned it. And during that, I've heard the Christmas story many, many times. More than 49 times. And you think about it, you ruminate on it, and like the parables, find something new every year, or at least an aspect of it that is more salient and relevant to my life every year. And what I like to do is find many aspects and put them out there, put them on display, so that you can find something there. And hopefully I'll get lucky, and one of the things that I lift up and show about the Christmas story and something that's helpful for you. And as Christians, as people of faith, we like to think and hope and believe that the Spirit has something to do with that. It's not all just about us, that there's stuff coming through, that helps us articulate things to ourselves and to each other in ways that are helpful. So what we're doing is I have the barest essentials of a plan at this point. It's not, well, you know me, everybody knows me. There is a fair amount of flying by the seat of my pantsness to a lot of what I do. And I just accept that about myself. I'm 49 years old. I've been in ministry for 21 years. And I think that spontaneity and creativity and just like, hey, let's do this is a big part of who I am. And I think people respond to that. The flip side and the cost of that is the people who tend to be very spontaneous and creative in short bursts, who get really excited about stuff, and then it's like a burn. It's like, let's go. The flip side of that is that at least I know there's people I recognize as being very similar to me. The logistics and the follow through parts of it, like, okay, I got A, and oh my gosh, D is going to be fantastic, and then I need other people to worry about and work on B and C for me and with me, or at least to say, okay, A, okay, great idea, and oh my goodness, D, when we get to D, it's going to be so much fun, but okay, in the meantime, let's just hunker down and figure out how B and C are going to happen so that A moves to D. And I forever beat myself up over not being a B and C person. And I felt, I've lost sleep over that, just self-revelation time or whatever. I've always beat myself up over that and felt guilty about not being a B and C person. I'm just not built that way. I'm just not programmed that way. And I can force myself to, and I do force myself to, and I participate in B and C. But more often than not, I need someone who would need to pull me into that, because once A happens, the idea, the spark, whatever, the vision, the inspiration, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to be too grand, but you got an idea, let's do it. And then when D happens, when everybody is here, well, we're watching it on video. When D happens, the end product is quite often it's quite nice, not because of us all working together and for what everybody brings to the table. But that B and the C, it's like, okay, great idea. Okay, now we got to book rooms. We have to look out for schedules. We have to get the people power to come in and pull things out. There are people who will feel excluded if we don't include them in B and C because they're B and C people. So I got to think about their feelings as well. Those really real, legitimate feelings. Like Paul was getting at, the body's got many parts. There's lots of different people who've got lots of different roles. A lot of clergy are B and C people. They're A, B, and C people too, and D people. But I really think the best ones are the B and, dare I say it? I really think the best ones are B and C people. And if you can happen to be in team ministry with an A person and a D person and a B and a C person, if you're keeping up with this very stretched analogy, well, I think you're in a really good place. But this year, so all that to be said, I've got A, I got the inspiration. Gosh, if we ever needed to have a nice Christmas and a meaningful Advent, well, it's this year. Am I overstating it by saying that? Am I overstating it? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I wasn't there. But this could be one of the most fraught Advents and Christmases that we as a culture and society, and I'm talking about Canada, I'm talking about Western culture because this is where I'm from. One of the most fraught and strange Christmases that we have had collectively since the Second World War. There's lots of little crises that families go through, of course. They're little on the grand scale, but really big on the micro scale. Like when a parent or someone is ill, or when someone dies, or Christmas, or you've lost your, those are mountains in our lives, and you cannot give them short shrift. But when you're talking globally, society, culturally speaking, I think there is a discussion to be had about this being one of the most significantly different and sad Christmas seasons since the Second World War. We'll be putting it in context for generations. So what's the church's response to that? Well, it's always love and grace and help in whatever way that we can do it. And I'm not going to say the easiest way because this is a heck of a lot of work, but the most apparent way is to bring the rituals to folks the best way we can with the tools that we have, and that's using YouTube, and it's using this sanctuary, and it's using all the symbols that we have. So for this video today, for our pre-service, often what I'll do is I'll put up a little silly backdrop or something that's kind of fun, but and this is fun. But what I have behind me is We've got our Advent candles. We've got our angel tree boxes are behind me. Our wreaths are up on the communion table. The Christ candle has been taken away because we don't like that during Advent. And we've got our garland, and I'm not sure where the lights are, but we're going to decorate this sanctuary. And it needs to be a little bit different from other years, just because it's all going to be video centric. So we need to figure out where things are going to go. And we're going to do that on Monday at noon. So I've got a handful of people joining me on Monday at noon to start decking the halls, as it were. And we'll get the garland up on the rail there, and we'll get our wreaths up, and we'll get some lights and little trees going. We'll get the angel trees ready to go, and we'll get this place looking like it should, because we're a Christian witness in the midst of a very, very sad and terrible time. I do want to mention a few things before I sign off. The Narthex that's what I'm calling this, the Narthex, Narthex is a fancy church word for the lobby. Let's see if I can show you the lobby. It's that place out there. That's where the Narthex is. Here's a little, I don't know if I've shown too much of that, but that's a new instrument that we have in the church, and I can't wait to play it. Or I can't play it. I mean, I can't wait to hear Paul play it. That's why where am I? Oh, yes. Just before we start worship. This is the time when I can catch up on announcements and prayer requests that came in after the main service has been in the can. So we recorded this week on Tuesday, earlier than most weeks, because they just because it was a crazy week. And I think through Advent, we're going to try to record as much as we can ahead of time. So all the music and many parts of the liturgy, we're going to record ahead of time. But the lesson I'm learning is that the prayers of the people ought to be one of the last things that I record and drop into the pre-recorded bits of the service, because they need to be as current as possible for pastoral reasons. And because people we really care about are going through some things, and there's so much value in knowing that people are praying with you. And so I would like to ask you all to pray for somebody who's very dear to me and to our congregation. That's Judy Evgen. Judy has some surgery on Friday. So this coming Friday, it's cancer surgery. Prognosis is good. Lots of hope there, but it's surgery, and it's cancer surgery. And she would appreciate knowing that her Christian sisters, brothers, and others are with her in prayer. And we would appreciate her knowing that we are, because that's how families are. They care for each other. So please pray for Judy. Pray for us as we try to put together a Christmas and Advent program. A is here, D is here, B and C. Oh boy, that's where the energy is going to have to be. So I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to direct you all to the service. Begins in 1 minute or 2 minutes. And it is clearly labeled November 22nd, 2020. Reign of Christ Sunday this is it. It's Reign of Christ Sunday. This is the last Sunday of the church year. So we've cleared out this liturgical year, and we're starting to clear in the next one. So peace, and I will see you on the other side. Join us for coffee. Join us for the Zoom coffee time. I know Zoom, we're getting tired of it, but that's nice to see your faces. All right. Bye for now, everybody. I was trying to